Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Stitching Ain't Easy. My name is Ashley. This may or may not be at the end of my Michael's yarn, so if it is, thanks for hanging out. If not, then hello and thank you for joining me. I just wanted to do I guess we'll call it a health update. I don't know, this is maybe, I've mentioned before, I do these pretty often, kind of a diary entry, and I don't post it. That may be what this is, just because. So I told you guys the other day that I went for my treatment. Thing is, however, I didn't have my treatment. It's a drive for us to get there. It's not an easy task by any means. So I feel like a phone call would have been appropriate, but no one called. But we drove. I actually went and stayed the night before, hoping that I wouldn't be so tired after the treatment. And so we went in for my treatment, and usually they ask me if I've had any changes in my diet or my medication, and I wasn't asked that. Normally I do like a diary to kind of keep up with everything, and I wasn't asked to do that. The nurse, I use the term very, very loosely there. The nurse, told me that she thinks, and that the doctor that's, if you guys have been here for any of these at all, my health updates, then you'll know that I was scheduled for a scope, and I was supposed to go the first time for my scope, and I ended up not having it because they didn't tell me I was supposed to have a COVID test, and then the doctor that was supposed to do the scope went on vacation, and I feel like by the grace of God, another doctor performed my scope. So the lady that last time, aka the nurse, once again using that term very, very loosely, the one that asked me last time if I thought this was worth my time, being away from my family and having these treatments once a month, she decided, and so did the doctor that didn't do my scope, the same doctor that looked me in the eyes whenever I was supposed to have my scope and told me that I was not his patient. He straight told me that if you were my patient, I would tell you this, but you're not my patient, so I can't tell you that. Or his exact words, well, not exact words, I guess, because there are a couple fill in the blanks there. Anyway, he told me I wasn't his patient. So they decided that I shouldn't be in the study anymore. They didn't get me into the study. I did that on my own. I called around, got everyone whatever, did all that on my own with the help of my husband. They didn't do that. I was at, if you guys remember, I was at another testing facility before I even went here. So they didn't get me in the first place at all. I mentioned the doctor told me that I wasn't his patient, so he's never seen me. The nurse asks me, once again, any changes in my medication, any changes in my diet. She hooks me up to the IV, comes in every 15 minutes to change the dose, and that's all that she asks me about that. Like occasionally, like one time I watched Armageddon, the movie with, Bruce Willis. Watched that, and we had small talk about that. And other than that, and her telling me every time, is it worth it? we knew a guy from, one state over that drove here and had this, and now he's not doing it anymore. Are you sure you still want to do it? He's on this medication and this medication now, and it's working. And other than those things, she doesn't talk to me. Today is Saturday, and I was supposed to have my treatment on Monday. I left the office not in a good mood by any means. Kind of had a bit of a breakdown in the elevator and all the way out. So very thankful for my husband for being there. Couldn't have done it otherwise. We weren't, it was less than an hour later. The same nurse who just kicked me out had the nerve to email me and say that the doctor that's not my doctor, remember that guy? Okay. That he would like to do another scope on me before I leave. And then I can take that information to my new doctor, and he would do blood work and a scope, and then I could have that information to take. Why would I do that? Is it because y'all screwed up? Because I wasn't supposed to leave? Is that why you're trying to cover your tracks? Because whenever I joined this whole thing, I signed my life away. Signed paper after paper after paper. And I was supposed to be in the study part, for 18 months. After that, I was guaranteed drug until it's approved by the FDA. I don't know if there are withdrawal effects or anything at all like that. They just dropped me. I did not sign anything whenever I left. She told me that I could, roll it back. She told me that her and the doctor decided that I shouldn't be in it anymore. She said the study team too, but I have been told by the study team the last thing they want me to do is to leave. I've been told that by them a few times. So I don't know if they were out of the office, if they're talking with the people, or if they just dropped me too at this point. I feel like she's had ample opportunity to say something. Or the drug company has had ample opportunity to say something to me. In January, it's almost a year that I've invested time. My family has invested time and money, and so has the study team in all of this. So they don't want me to quit. Especially just leave, because that's not how it works. So she told me at first that they could do my exit interview. Did you hear that? I'm supposed to have an interview to leave. Very important, remember that. So they could either do my exit interview, or she could go and she was going to go find me a doctor closer to home. Isn't that cute? That specializes in my disease. Now you would think that common sense would be perhaps there's a reason this girl drove all of the way to Louisiana and now is coming all the way here. Perhaps no one closer to home knows a dadgum thing about it. So then she leaves for 15 minutes, comes back and tells me, guess what? No doctors anywhere around you know anything at all about it, so we couldn't find you anyone for referral. And I just looked at her and was like, hi, yeah, I know. That's why. I told her that then. So I feel like common sense would have told her, but it didn't. Because, some people, common sense is a blessing. Apparently everyone isn't blessed with it. Let's just say that. So I told her, I know. No one around here has any idea. My own doctor was just like, what? Whenever I told him what I was diagnosed with. He had never heard of it. He had to go Google it. Look it up. But that's why I was going to Louisiana and why I drove all the way there, because no one here knows anything at all about it. I'm quite aware. I know how to Google. I researched all of these things myself. Like I said, I found the drug company in the trial study. My husband and I. We can Google, you know. I know there's no doctors anywhere around me. So then after that, she told me that, never mind, we're not going to give you a referral because we don't know who we would refer you to. So, and then I told her that, so then I told her, go get the doctor that did my scope. The one that, you know, the doctor that couldn't do it, the next week they came back and they did my scope. A different doctor. So I was like, well, go get that doctor. I want to hear what he says. He's the only one that's even looked at me this whole entire time. Your other dude has no idea who I am. I'm not even his patient. He doesn't know me. So go get the doctor that did the scope and I'll talk to him. Apparently that set a nerve off. I don't really care. Then after that, she told me my options were to do the exit interview or I could leave the office. I broke down, to say the least, and made sure to point out to her that I've been away from my family and been away from my life, and this is a year that has consumed me. I don't have normal dates in between. It's like my whole world revolves around when my next infusion is, when my next treatment is. That's what I think about constantly. I come home, I lose a week. I have to do a diary for it every day. I mean, it's consumed me. So for her to just decide that I'm done is crazy. Anyway, so yeah, so I don't feel like it was, I'll be honest, it's my heater turning on. I hope that's not really loud and right in your ears. I'll get there in just a second. Why I have the heater on me. Anyway, so I don't feel like it's anyone's decision but my own decision. It's something my family and I can talk about, but at the end of the day, it's my decision if I continue doing this or not. It's not her decision. It's not some doctor that's not my doctor's decision. It's no one else's decision. And she told me that because of the side effects that I can't do it anymore. And she's never once asked me, never one time, if anybody asked me, hey, have you had any side effects? Hey, is anything different? Hey, you know, are you growing an extra arm? No one's asked me any of those things, not one time. Any changes in diet? Any changes in medication? It's all that they ask me. And like I said, I have my diary at night. She told me according to my diary it wasn't any better, but that's a bunch of hooey. Because whenever I started and compared to now, my diary entries are a lot different. I have gained weight. She told me again that I lost 10 pounds. She told me that before. That she told me between my scope and my treatment that I had lost 10 pounds, which was not even, it was what, like 2 weeks or something. And every time I go, they take my weight. So don't they have what I weighed last time I had my treatment? Couldn't she have looked at that herself? Like maybe, just maybe the other lady wrote it down wrong. Maybe their scales are different. Maybe I wore different shoes. I don't know. But yeah. Told me I lost 10 pounds. I was like, no, I didn't. And she told me that my journal didn't look any better. I was like, yeah, it does. I started this whole thing because I had a high eosinophil account. High eosinophil account, not account. It's not like there's a bank where I put them in or anything. High eosinophil count, which is why I'm in this, which is what is wrong with me. Those are my like combative white blood cells. And she told me last time I went for my treatment, last month in October, that according to my scope, it didn't show any eosinophils. So once again, I feel like common sense right there would be like, okay, she started this whole thing out, had way too many, which is why we put her in this study. 6 months later, she doesn't show any. Do you think it's working or not? To me, that would be like, yeah, it's obviously working somehow to them. I don't know. I've been in this absolute funk for days. I can't drag my body out of it. I feel like mentally I was exhausted before this. This kind of broke me. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I've tried to do nothing but just be positive because I feel like I have no other choice than to be positive. However, this kind of shattered me to my core. It's been a long time of me being sick, and that's what, my husband even told her. He's like, she has no other option. She's been on every medication that you guys have. All of them. You name it. She's tried it. It failed. Name it. She was like, well, I think blah, 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 this. And he was like, yeah, she was on that. Well, what about blah, blah, blah? I mean, we have this conversation every time because, like I said, every time they've tried to get me to leave. And every time we're like, this is my Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know how many times I've said that statement. This is my Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is my only hope. Other than this, there's nothing. And it's true. And so yeah, so like I said, so they were trying to, still tell me different things and different medications, and I don't remember. I was going to say something that my husband said, but I don't even remember. My brain is just yeah. So I was finally starting to have an appetite. Food sounded so good. It hasn't sounded good. That's what it was. My husband told her, we've been to the Mayo Clinic. That's what it was. It's like we've been to an insane amount of doctors trying to get her figured out. They finally figured out this insanely rare disease and what was wrong with her and what's been causing all this whole entire time. And finally found something, and you guys are telling her no. He's like, we've been to the Mayo, we've been here, we've been there, we've, to get her figured out, and finally found a doctor that figured it out and came to your study, and who are you to kick her out? So that's why I just kept telling her, I'm like, this is so wrong. You have to know how wrong this is. Like, you have to. And she just kept staring at the wall, and she wouldn't say anything to me. And that's whenever I kind of just broke. Well, right before that, I guess. It was kind of why I was like, you have to see how wrong this is, because it is. It should be, my health care should be no one else's business but my own. And that's all. I'm over the age of 18. I should be able to decide for myself. And I've mentioned that, I don't know that I was getting better or not, but after like the last time, whenever they tripled my dose, and that was the thing, they didn't double my dose, they tripled my dose, and I mentioned that to her. I was like, well, last time you tripled it, and I'm coming in here telling you that, I have a little bit of appetite, and I had a little bit of energy, like I actually did things around the house that I was not doing for like a year and a half before, and finally I was doing those things. And it didn't matter. And so my husband's like, just, Ash, save your breath. He's like, just, you can talk to her till you're blue in the face. He's like, she's not going to hear you. And at one point, she stopped listening. And she just shut me out and started staring at the wall, which infuriated me, because I feel like I'm my own advocate. I feel like I've been my own advocate for a long time. It's like me and my family in my back pocket against in the world, I feel like, sometimes. Because I've been to so many doctors that just... they don't know, but they think they know. And you go in there and they're like, oh, well, I can't believe that you've been through all this stuff. I'm so sorry. That breaks my heart to hear that you've had to go through all of these people. I got you. I've got this figured out. It's going to be great. I'm the doctor for you. I'll go back the next time and they'll tell me, I don't know what to do for you. I have no idea. We can't help you. I don't know who to refer you to. I cannot tell you guys how many times I have heard that. And it's pretty disheartening. So now whenever a doctor tells me that, I'm just like, okay, sure thing, you know. Because I've had several doctors tell me that after, you know, after about the 6th or 7th one, you're just like, yeah, sure, let's see it, you know. And that's why I like my primary care doctor. Because just like that, my disease, he's like, never heard of it, don't know anything about it. I'm going to look it up for you though. And you'll tell him, you know, medications that you've heard about or thought about or, you know, Google's told you about or whatever. And he'll have that actual conversation with you about it. And as opposed to just thinking he knows, I guess. And not knowing a thing. I have mentioned before that there is a 28 to 32 day window with the medication. And after that point, it starts to wear off. And when I didn't have my scope when I was supposed to, that put me about a week out. And I started noticing things that I'd kind of forgotten that I had done. Like I get so nauseous, I hurt. I just feel bruised all over. I mean, it aches everywhere. I like flu aches. But then my whole body just feels bruised. And I get so sick. Like I cannot keep anything down. And sick from the time I wake up till the time I go to bed. And I'd kind of, you know, stop getting sick as much and stopped hurting like that for sure. And whenever they didn't do my scope and I was a week out, I started doing those things again. It was like, oh, okay, maybe it is, you know, working. So that was like my glimmer of hope of like, okay, maybe it is working. Well, now, set it to Saturday. I was supposed to have my treatment on Monday, so I'm officially out of that window. I have been beyond exhausted. I'm sitting here right now, like I said, with the heater next to me. Yes, it's cold outside. I have on layers of clothing, and I'm sitting here holding an insanely hot cup of coffee. My super hip mug from my Beastie, because it is warm. I have been sick non-stop. I mentioned whenever we went to get my treatment, I ate. I wanted to eat, which felt so weird and so amazing. And I kept telling my husband, I'm like, can we stop here? Can we? And he's like, I will stop wherever you want. He's like, it's been 3 years since I've heard you say that you're hungry, or that you wanted something, or that something sounded good. And I was finally to that point. And here at the house, like I was eating things and like, you know, I was finally making them dinner again. There were several nights that I made dinner for my family. And that was huge. I haven't done that in a long time. Like, I would do a couple loads of laundry, pick up the house a little bit, like, maybe 20 minutes total for the whole day. And I would make dinner, and that is monumental. Because there were times where I would have to talk myself into getting up to use the restroom, and it would take me like 45 minutes to talk myself into doing that. So yeah, I think it was working. And now I'm back to, like, this is a lot, just talking to y'all. I haven't made a video in days. I haven't felt like it. I have Happy Mail that I haven't even opened or looked at. I haven't. And I don't know if it's, I'm sure some of it's mental, because, I mean, let's be honest, it's a lot. But also, like, physically, I'm so drained, so tired, and so very, very nauseous. Like, I've been using my one medication like crazy, and I kind of got to a point where I wasn't using it as often, and I've been using it every day, a couple times a day again. So I don't know where I stand or sit at this moment. I don't know that I'll get back in there into the trial. If I do, the closest one for me now is like 8 hours away. Fun. Because there are only a few sites because of how rare it is. I've just cried and cried and cried. My husband's like, you gotta get out of that, like, mindset, because it's gonna do nothing but make you worse. It's gonna do nothing but tear you down. You gotta just, let go, let God. That whole get knocked down 9 times, get up 10 times, my mottos. He's like, you have to live by those right now. You have no other option. And he's right. I've been thinking back though, and whenever I started this whole thing, I weighed less, so I know I've gained weight, even though I've been sick and been whatever. Like I said, I've started having more energy. I know that I've gained weight. I don't care what she says. I know that I've gained weight. It's like, as I'm kind of looking back on all this stuff of, like, I don't know if I'm getting any better, because they all said it was like, a instant miracle cure and I'm gonna be so much better and blah 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 blah. Well, I wasn't. But if I look back a year ago, I mean, like I said, I gained weight. I'm still getting sick, but I was able to control it, which is pretty huge. I wasn't there for a long time, and now I'm back to where I can't already. I at least wanted some things to eat. Some things sounded good sometimes. Yeah, I would get sick on them usually, but at least they sounded good. And mostly I had energy to do things where I hadn't at all before. I don't know. I have no clue where I'm going to go from here, because, like I said, it's not an FDA approved medication, so it's not like I can just go to my doctor and get it, or go somewhere else and get it. That's the other thing. My mom, was like, can you have withdrawals? Can you have, your body go through stuff? No one even bothered to question that or mention that. And don't know that they care. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think they care. I am a lab rat to them. That's what it is. I'm a guinea pig. That's what I told my husband. I'm like, I'm just now getting it, you know. It's like, oh, that lab rat didn't make it. Just toss in the garbage, get a new one. Next. That's exactly what I am to them. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting that they do that to rats. I don't even like rats. But it's disgusting that they do that to rats. It's disgusting that they do that to humans. Anybody. Anything. And I was finally making dinners for them and I made breakfast for my husband. I've talked about that, how much I missed making breakfast for my husband. There were a couple of days there where I made breakfast for my husband. I didn't just wake up sick right off the bat. I actually woke up and made him something. And then I made my kids lunch a few times, and I made them dinner several times. We went to the waterfall that's down the road a ways from us. Went and walked around there, and I was exhausted, and my son had to help me back out basically, but that's something that I would not have even remotely thought about doing, because I'm such an undertaking. Like I said, I couldn't even walk to the bathroom before without just okay, you can do it, you got this, you can get up, you can go. I mean, so little things like that make me know that it was working. It's so wrong. That's just all I kept saying the whole time. It's you can't tell me you don't know how wrong this is. You know nothing about me. This is so wrong. If I'm sitting here telling you I feel like eating, I have energy, my diary is completely different, I've gained weight, I don't have eosinophils, y'all told me that yourselves. What else do we need to know? It's working. It may not be working as fast as y'all want it to, or as fast as I want it to by any means. It's working. And now I can definitely tell a difference in how I felt last week compared to how I felt this week. My throat has been all whatever. I used to clear my throat all of the time. Yesterday I cleared my throat most of the day. I did have insanely dark circles under my eyes at one point. They were kind of starting to clear up. I felt like, I don't even know. I just, I feel bruised all over, my arms, and I hurt all over. I feel like I was in a car wreck or something. I feel bruised. I ache. I'm so, I have flu aches with nausea, which was my norm before. And now, I didn't do that for a while. But here we are, right back at it. I'm unable to keep anything down, which I went through a little while there, this last month even, that I couldn't keep anything down. And I do that, but then I would feel like eating. And I know that sounds insane to some of y'all, but that's an improvement. Just the fact that I even some days felt like eating. The food actually sounded good, even though, I had just gotten sick 4 or 5 days before that and couldn't keep anything down. Okay, so I don't even know. All I'm going to do is sit here and bellyache and gripe and complain more, and I'm so tired of feeling like this. I do just want to be my old normal. I just want to be positive and look at it as whatever, but it's it's not, I guess. So I'm gonna go do some more research on natural things that could potentially help. I know that they say change in diet, but I can't eat anything, and that's everyone's like, well, if you do this or do this and blah blah blah, but I can't eat anything, so it's not gonna matter. And it's not gonna matter. So And we've discussed how, maybe this house is making me sick, and so I'm hoping someone comes along pretty quickly and purchases it so we can move on, and maybe if I get out of here, maybe that'll be different, but it's just real hard to be positive right now. So, yeah. I feel like I was kind of hanging on by a thread for a while now, and my thread snapped the other day. Broke right in half. And I don't know. I have no idea what to do. So, I mean, y'all know when I know what happens. I just needed to tell you guys, I guess, because it's kind of a big, my health journey is kind of a big part of this whole thing, and it kind of got stopped in its tracks, and I don't know what to do. So I wanted to share with you guys, just so you know that I don't know. I'm gonna go, because like I said a minute ago, I'm just gonna keep belly aching and ranting, and I'm probably gonna say more than I need to say, even though I'm sure I probably already have. There's another probably 4 hours worth of stuff that I could tell you guys that was just absolutely disturbing and wrong. But I won't. So, I thank you guys very much for listening. Thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all of your prayers, and I need them right now more than I have in a while. And so if you don't mind, that would be great. Thank you. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. I truly appreciate you for listening, for being here, for being in my corner. Because so my husband was saying, he's like, we lost this battle, but we're gonna win the war. So it's gonna be okay. So, all right. I hope you guys have a wonderfully blessed day. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon.